It is the nature of democracy that until those votes are cast and the American people, have their say, we don't know.
Are you worried?
As somebody who has now been in elected office at various levels for about 20 years, I've seen all kinds of crazy stuff happen. And I think anybody who goes into campaigns not running scared can end up losing.
So the president also said, quote, anything is possible when asked during the interview whether the Russians could be working to influence the contest between Republican nominee Trump and Democrat Hillary Clinton.
Let me ask you, Mr.
Господин президент, хочу спросить вас еще об одном демократическом государстве, где совершенно другая картина. Вы говорили о Дональде Трампе, кандидате от республиканской партии. Вы сказали, что это выдающийся человек, талантливый человек, чрезвычайно умный человек, и об этом говорили во всем мире. Я хотел бы узнать вот что. Что именно в этом человеке привело вас к такому его восприятию? И уверены ли вы в этом?
Вот... Вы известный человек в нашей стране, вот вы лично. И не только как ведущий на одной из крупнейших телевизионных корпораций, но и как интеллектуал. Зачем вы все передергиваете? Вы возьмите, над вами берет верх журналист, а не аналитик. Ну посмотрите, что я сказал. Я на ходу сказал, что Трамп яркий человек. А что, не яркий? Яркий. Никаких других характеристик я ему не давал. Но вот на что я точно обращаю внимание, и что я точно приветствую, и не вижу здесь ничего плохого, наоборот. Господин Трамп заявил, что он готов к восстановлению, полноформатному восстановлению российско-американских отношений. Чего здесь плохого? Мы все это приветствуем. А вы нет?
So the president also said, quote, anything is possible when asked during the interview whether the Russians could be working to influence the contest between Republican nominee Trump and Democrat Hillary Clinton. I want your reaction to that. But that sounds, that first answer was different than what he first said, because he said, I think the American people are too smart to elect someone like Donald Trump. Now he's saying anything is possible, and now he's saying the Russians can influence. What's your reaction?
Look, it's a divided country. Donald Trump at his convention has managed to rally a lot of disaffected or conservatives who are sitting on the sideline. He got a significant bounce out of his convention. You look at someone like Nate Silver, who crunches the numbers all the time on these polls, said this week that if the election were held today, Donald Trump would win. And so I think you're seeing that represented now among the Democratic establishment, that this is a serious race, and it will be to the end. The country is basically divided.
What about the Russians influencing them?
I think that's the most undercovered story of the week. I mean, we're all focusing on these juicy emails from the DNC, rightly so. That's what we know and what we can see in front of us. But the fact that a foreign power is trying to influence an American election is extraordinary. And what I think is interesting is when we have a little bit more reporting and information from the American intelligence community about exactly what they think Russian intentions were. Why did they do this? Why did they steal from the DNC and not the RNC? Maybe they tried. Why was it released on the eve of the Democratic convention? And why are they choosing one candidate apparently over another in our election? I mean, even at the height of the Cold War, I don't remember a foreign power, maybe there are examples I'm not familiar with, but a foreign power using espionage to this extent. I mean, this is
Мы никогда не вмешиваемся во внутриполитические процессы других стран, тем более Соединенных Штатов. Но мы будем работать с любым президентом, за которого проголосует американский народ. Хотя я не думаю, кстати говоря, что вот они всех учат, как надо жить, и демократии учат. А что, вы считаете, что там демократические выборы президента, что ли? Но это правда. Посмотрите, там дважды в истории США избирали президентом человека, за которым большинством голосов выборщиков, а за этими выборщиками стояло меньшее количество избирателей. Это что, демократия, что ли? Значит, когда мы дискутируем иногда с коллегами, мы никого ни в чем не обвиняем, мы просто дискутируем. Нам говорят: не лезьте, это не ваше дело, мы так привыкли. Так и хочется сказать: ну да, не лезьте к нам. Чего вы лезете-то? Разберитесь у себя сначала. Но повторяю, действительно, это не наше дело, хотя, по-моему, там даже прокурору отгоняют от участков международных наблюдателей в ходе избирательных кампаний. Американские прокуроры пугают их, что в тюрьму посадят. Вот. Но это их проблемы. Они так привыкли, им нравится. Америка – великая держава. Ну, сегодня, наверное, единственная супердержава. Мы это принимаем. Мы хотим и готовы работать с Соединенными Штатами. И как бы там ни происходили эти выборы, в конце концов они состоятся. Будет глава государства, у него большие очень полномочия. Значит, там идут сложные внутриполитические и экономические процессы в Соединенных Штатах. Миру нужна мощная такая страна, как Соединенные Штаты. И нам нужна. Значит, но нам не нужно, чтобы они постоянно вмешивались в наши дела, указывали, как нам жить, мешали Европе строить с нами отношения. Вот. Вот санкции, про которые вы сказали, они касаются Соединенных Штатов? Да никак не касаются. Вообще наплевать им на эти санкции, потому что последствия наших ответных действий, они на них никак не отражаются. На Европе отражаются, а на США никак не отражаются. Нулевой эффект. Но американцы говорят своим партнерам: надо потерпеть. Зачем они терпеть? Я не понимаю. Ну, хотят, пусть терпят. Зачем? Матео, зачем вам терпеть? Сейчас Матео объяснит, зачем нам терпеть. Вот, но он яркий оратор, мы это видим, как здорово выступал, красиво. Вот, но я искренне говорю, честное слово, Италия может гордиться таким премьером. Правда, конечно, красиво. Но мы никого не нахваливаем. Это не наше дело, как немцы говорят, не наше пиво туда. Поэтому когда выберут, мы будем работать с любым президентом, которому оказал доверие американский народ, в надежде на то, что это будет такой человек, который будет стремиться к развитию отношений с нашей страной и будет способствовать созданию строительства более безопасного мира.
I want your reaction to that, but that sounds, that first answer was different than what he first said, because he said, I think the American people are too smart to elect someone like Donald Trump. Now he's saying anything is possible, and now he's saying the Russians get influence. What's your reaction?
Look, it's a divided country. Donald Trump at his convention has managed to rally a lot of disaffected or conservatives who are sitting on the sideline. He got a significant bounce out of his convention. You look at someone like Nate Silver, who crunches the numbers all the time on these polls, said this week that if the election were held today, Donald Trump would win. And so I think you're seeing that represented now among the Democratic establishment, that this is a serious race, and it will be to the end. The country is basically divided.
What about the Russians influencing them?
I think that's the most undercovered story of the week. I mean, we're all focusing on these juicy emails from the DNC, rightly so. That's what we know and what we can see in front of us. But the fact that a foreign power is trying to influence an American election is extraordinary. And what I think is interesting is when we have a little bit more reporting and information from the American intelligence community about exactly what they think Russian intentions were. Mm-hmm. Why did they do this? Why did they steal from the DNC and not the RNC? Maybe they tried. Why was it released on the eve of the Democratic convention? And why are they choosing one candidate apparently over another in our election. I mean, even at the height of the Cold War, I don't remember a foreign power, maybe there are examples I'm not familiar with, but a foreign power using espionage to this extent. I mean, this is like Watergate, right?
Yeah.
But we're outsourcing, but it's a foreign power doing it.
Let's bring the rest of the panel in.
You think about, there were some scandals in the 1990s, remember, where there were some Clinton donations that the Clinton campaign had gotten from
China,
people who were connected to China. That was a very, very big scandal. But no one really claimed then that the Chinese government officially was going out there to try to elect someone to change American policy. We don't know that's the case, but it is entirely possible. There's a lot of evidence from Western Europe. Our former colleague Frank Foer has written about this in Slate, that Vladimir Putin has put in money to try to elect people in countries in Western Europe who he thinks will not take as hard a line against Russia. This would be consistent with his behavior in other places, and Donald Trump has been remarkably...
You said Donald Trump, Peter. You meant Vladimir Putin.
Sorry, Vladimir Putin has a history of trying to do this. Thank you. And we know that Donald Trump has been remarkably soft on Russia in a complete break from where the Republican Party was before.
That is where a story of, yes, Russia might have done this hack, the evidence points that way, that could possibly be true, but the part that starts theory is that they're doing this to actively promote a candidate. There was an expert on this program 2 nights ago saying Russia has a history of just interfering in elections to say, we're here, we're meddlesome, we're Russia, and we're going to create havoc. So to suggest that there's a motive on the part of the Russians, we can talk about that, we can float that idea, but to float it as fact, as the Hillary Clinton campaign did, is just false.
I want to hear Madeline Albright discuss this tonight. Let's listen.
Donald Trump also has a strange admiration for dictators. Saddam Hussein, Kim Jong-un, Vladimir Putin. When asked about Putin, Donald Trump said, and I quote, "In terms of leadership, he's getting an A." The truth is that a Trump victory in November would be a gift to Vladimir Putin. And given what we've learned about Russia's recent actions, Putin is eager to see Trump win. And that should worry every American.
So she's saying Putin has a stake in this, and it's possible.
Look, I mean, Kaylee's right. We don't know. There's a lot we don't know. We don't know why Russia has done it. But what we do know is there's been a dramatic shift in the Republican Party's position on Russia under Donald Trump. And we know that Vladimir Putin has a history of meddling in other countries' elections to try to strengthen Russian foreign policy. And we know that it seems very likely they hacked into the DNC's computers. And there's no evidence so far that they hacked into the Republican Party's computers.
We secure our servers.
We do know.
That's something that Republicans take pride in. We secure our servers.
And agree that we have not been able to connect those dots. But Kaylee, one thing that doesn't help in terms of quashing the conspiracy theories is that Paul Manafort used to work for somebody who was a pro-Putin president in Ukraine. And so those connections, not that connects the dots, but that kind of, when people think about this, they try to connect the dots themselves.
Sounding a lot like a conspiracy.
I will say.
No, I'm saying
I agree
we
with
haven't
Kaylee.
been able to connect the dots.
You shouldn't.
Sounds like circumstantial evidence.
It is.
Right, but I will say, if the Democratic campaign were run, the chairman of Hillary Clinton's campaign were run by someone who worked for 10 years for pro-Russian entities in the Ukraine, if the Democratic candidate aides changed their party platform to be more pro-Putin, which happened on the Republican side, and if the Democratic candidate condemned NATO, I think you would have a lot of Republicans saying, whoa, wait a second, this is a more pro-Russian Democratic Party than the past, and it's a little fishy.
Yeah.
So don't you think so, Kaylee?
No, because I think the Democratic candidate...
Really? If all those facts...
The Democratic candidate
come on.
there and offer... No, you're right that they would take that tack. I think it was smart of Robbie Mook to come out and say what he did. It changed the narrative of the DNC leaks, which we're not talking about. But the Democratic candidate offered a reset button naively to Russia, for which they ignored. So there's
that's what we're talking about.
But Kaylee, that's part of it. That's what's so people who follow foreign policy, that's what's so mind-blowing to us watching Trump is, wow, the Republican Party 4 years ago, Mitt Romney got on stage with Barack Obama and said that Vladimir Putin is the #1 geostrategic threat in the world. And now we're seeing a Republican Party that's led by a person who condemns NATO, which is Putin's greatest enemy, who changes the party platform to be more pro-Putin. In other words, they took out language that would have urged America to give arms to Ukrainians who are being threatened by Putin. and someone who says very nice things about Putin. So that's, to a lot of people, that's like, wow, the Republican Party has done a 180 on Putin.
If I'm Putin, I want the person who naively offered me a button to reset relations that I took advantage of and rolled across Eastern Europe.
But Kayleigh, if you look at Russia today, for instance, right, the Kremlin's TV network, they have been extremely pro Donald Trump. So I think we know where, so far, we know where Vladimir Putin's sympathies actually lie. There's another piece to this, too, which is what Josh Marshall in Talking Points memo has been reported, which is that because not very many banks in America or around the world will lend money to Donald Trump, his own son has said that they have taken a huge amount of investment of money in from Russian entities in recent years.
We do not want to get into that conversation where the other candidates taking money from Saudi Arabia, countries where women are stoned, they can't drive.
Wait, how do we know?
We want to get into who's giving money.
Wait, I think Kayleigh's
that's a good point.
No, I think Kayleigh's right. And why do we know that?
How do we know who's taking money from? The Clinton Foundation.
Because
they
seen the disclosures. And this is why
it's extremely transparent.
But this is why the Trump campaign should release its tax returns, because these questions are not going to go away until someone sees those tax returns. Because this is the question people have now with this Russia stuff: is there any financial
connections?
But speaking of that was a question that many people were asking me today. Like, no, there was no talk of tax returns. There's no talk of why weren't they talking about how they're going to destroy ISIS, especially with her as a former Secretary of State. Why was that not?
Don, this is the first time. I don't think that Democrats ever have a strong history of being message disciplined, ever. For the first 2 days of this convention, that is exactly what you've seen. So to Maria's point, it is coming.
That's right.
There is going to be a foreign policy moments. What you've seen over the last couple of days is someone who's fought for people in that trajectory. You saw someone who's, a mother, a grandmother, people who've worked with her. Bill Clinton referenced the people who she's known from Arkansas that have paid their own money to go campaign. That's what we're building up. Right now it's humanizing her. We're going to get to all the other...
Let me get back to the president that we played in the beginning of the segment where he said it is possible that Donald Trump could win, and you said the polling showed from Nate Silver, who said if the election was held today, he would win. Does that scare you that the president is saying, oh my goodness?
Yes, and you know what? Democrats should be scared. I have never bought into the narrative that this is going to be a cakewalk, that this is going to be easy. I've never thought this is going to be easy.
I did at the beginning.
And guess what?
I did.
The Clinton campaign never thought it was going to be easy either.
True.
And they wake up every single morning pretending like she is 10 points behind, because if we get complacent, if Democrats hear and see the ridiculous things he says and the divisive language that he uses and says, sane Americans, people who have common sense will never vote for this man. That is how he wins.
But it's
one thing about the polls,
how he wins.
It's not just Democrats, though. I think to Maria's point, in what she just mentioned, that there are Democrats who are concerned. There are Americans who are apolitical who are concerned about a Trump presidency and the Trump candidacy right now.
Right.
This is something that
we need to make them more concerned
as Americans.
No, I'm just saying we need to talk about something every day, so a new poll every day is something for us to dig into. But look, Trump got a decent bounce. Hillary probably is going to get a bounce if she doesn't. That's a big problem for her. Wait until the polls settle down in
That's what we were talking about earlier. That's
mid-August.
Right. Then we'll know.
That'll be an important snapshot.
Wait till you see who we grill on the grill next. Will it be Kayleigh?
Probably.
Probably.